Hi everyone, it's Uchiarakwe Nkwanta, and this is welcome to Parenting Specials. So before we jump into today's topic, I just want to thank each and everyone out there who has been pushing and been rooting for this platform. Thank you so much. And then if you know any caregiver or parents who needs one or two help or wants to hear one or two things, then please don't forget to share with them and also make sure that they subscribe. So today's topic, global developmental delay, GDD for short. Now this topic is so dear to my heart because it is a topic in which I found my experience, and it's actually a place in which I found my purpose as well. So what is global developmental delay, you may ask? GDD is the length in which children take in getting to reach certain milestones. For some children, they get to certain ages and they start talking, walking, doing all they are supposed to do. But for children with GDD, they actually struggle or take longer. Now, GDD may not necessarily be for kids because there are some people in life who generally experience delay. So no, I'm not just reaching out to children, I'm reaching out to everybody out there and give you one or two tips on how you can actually assist people who are around you actually have certain delays. So now GDD, people always ask, what are the causes of GDD? Now, GDD may not be caused by anything, meaning it's undetermined, or it can be genetic, meaning inherited, or it can be metabolic in your system. It can also be as a result of one learning disability or the other. It is usually seen in children with borderline autism spectrum disorder, ASD. For children with GDD, there are 5 main areas they may experience delay. We have the cognitive, which has to do with the brain and the processing of information. When you say things to them, you expect them to assimilate immediately. When you ask a child, how are you? And they tell you, hi, I'm fine, But for children who have delay in cognitive areas, they don't necessarily understand what you're saying, and then they just smile or stand there. They can't necessarily give you answers. The second area is social and emotional areas. These children usually don't know how to take turns. Like, they don't know, okay, I go now and then this other child has to go second. They don't understand that. They just want to always play. They just want to always have what they want to have. And then you may mistake this thing for being, oh, this child is being stubborn, but they're not necessarily stubborn. They don't just know how. So in the emotional aspect, they also may become very cranky. You take a child out and you expect that child to be excited, but you don't even get that excitement. Sometimes they're dull, sometimes they're excited, sometimes they're just frustrated. They want to go, they don't want to be around that area. And then you notice that they cry a lot. My son used to cry, like he may be asking for something so little, but the tears that he's going to cry, it's like rain wants to fall. So you may notice that kind of struggle, and it's just because they don't know how to express themselves and they struggle in that area. For the third aspect, we have speech delay. For those with speech delay, they can't really give you answers. They may understand what you're telling them or speaking to them. They don't find the words, or they don't know how word order. They don't know where now is supposed to go, or wherever. They don't actually know how to arrange it and give it back to you in answers, or they may not be verbal in general. For the fourth area, we have daily activities. Now these children struggle daily. Like, they may find it hard, putting on their clothes, just delaying in their general activities. For the fifth area, we have fine and gross motor skills. Fine motor skills are things like being able to hold a pencil. They don't know how to, their grip is not really strong. They may hold a cup now and then it drops, and then you're wondering, why is this child so clumsy? But that child is not clumsy. They have issues with their fine motor skills. Now, also maybe the gross motor skills, we have to do with the general body. Some children reach 4 months and they're already sitting, 5, 6, But for these children, they take a longer period. They may not crawl when you expect them to crawl. They may not walk when you expect them to walk. There's just delay when it comes to their whole body. And then you're wondering, why doesn't this child just want to walk? You get frustrated. But it's because they lack the skill to do so. So they actually have global developmental delays in these areas. Now is not a reason why you should have any cause for alarm. The first thing you should do is to see a pediatrist. and then they refer you to an agency that actually handles or evaluates children. Now, what can you do as a parent, or how do you handle the symptoms? Now, let's talk about the symptoms. One symptom you may notice with these children is that they don't really know how to control themselves. They may actually bedwet, or they may just go. Generally, you just see some children grow and they're up to certain ages, and you're wondering why they just go on themselves like that. It's because they have delay, maybe probably their cognitive area, and then the brain is not now giving enough information for them to know, okay, you're supposed to go to the loo and go. But so they just go and they cannot really control themselves. Now, you may also notice that it takes time in answering questions. Like, you may be teaching your child now, and then you talk to your child and expect, 1 + 1 is usually 2, and they can't give you that answer because they're taking time to process it. You get? So you as the parents actually chill for a bit and give them enough time to process it. Now, with these children also, they can't hold conversations. Like, you expect them to hold conversations with you, and how are you, and you expect them to say fine. Some of them just stare there because they can actually tell you they are fine. Now, you can also notice that these particular children find it hard to grip their pencils. You see parents take their toddlers to school, and when they come, they're like, my child doesn't want to write. What is the matter? Now they lack the skill, they lack the skill to actually grip the pencil and actually start writing. That's why some schools actually incorporate pencil grip into their training methods, for children who actually lack the skill to do so. You as a parent may think that the child is being stubborn. For children who can talk, you say, but my child doesn't have any disability, or my child can actually speak, but they don't just want to write. For some, their handwriting may not actually be neat. You start struggling with telling them how to write properly, and it's because of the way in which they grip their pen or their pencils. So there are various symptoms. They are actually also highly emotional. Like, you may come back from work and expect your child to be all over you, and then they don't have any expression. Like, the first time I took my son to school, like the first time he went to school, I was all excited and emotional at the same time. I expected him to cry, oh, mommy is leaving, but he just gave me a blank stare, like, and went about his own way. He didn't even play with other children. He just saw a toy and went to the toy, and I was wondering why didn't I receive any emotions there. So with children like that, they actually struggle emotionally. Also, children like that may also struggle with they may struggle with speech, they may struggle with writing, they may struggle in various areas. You also don't need to panic. You either see a therapist who may handle them, or take them for evaluation, and also help yourself. Now, how can you as a parent help that child? For this period that we are all on lockdown, there are no teachers for us to shop the children to. We actually have to do the work. So how do you do the work, and how can you ask this? I'll say, number one, you should give them enough time to answer the question, whether it's writing or it's speaking. When you ask them a question, always provide adequate time. Don't always say, but I just taught you now that 1 + 1 is 2, and then you expect them to know it like this. No, they take time to assimilate, then give you back feedback. So secondly, I would say positive reinforcement. Even me as an adult, I like to be positively reinforced. When a child does something that you like, it may be a little thing. It may not even mean anything to another parent, but a parent who has been struggling will understand what I'm talking about. And even for general children, positive reinforcement is really, really good. When they do something good, point to that particular thing they've done. I'm like, oh, this is so lovely. You need to see me hailing my daughter. You will think that she has built a skyscraper. We may be doing a work, and then she actually pronounces or spells a word, and I'm like, go girl, and she claps for herself, and she calls herself a superstar. Now, they're really excited to actually want to do more to please you. The third thing you can do is actually give them tasks in bits. You don't just have to tell them to read or to do something immediately. Give them in bits. If they complete this task and they are actually successful in that task, then raise the bar a little bit higher. Doesn't mean you have to stretch it so far, raise it a little higher, so that way they keep growing, they keep learning. The fourth way you can actually help as a parent is encouragement. Don't get tired. Just keep encouraging the child, even when the child fails a task or fails to do it your way. Just say, I know you can do it better. I'm giving this advice now, but believe me, I didn't handle it better then, because I did not like I didn't know what to do. I was actually frustrated myself, you get. So, but I'll tell you, just be patient, encourage them. And you as a parent, you should be their number one motivator. You should be their number one encourager. Because if you don't encourage them, maybe probably you shout at them at home, and they get shouted to, scolded at school, and it gives them, their peers, the chance for them to be actually humiliated, and they start going down with their self-esteem, and you're wondering why your child is always in his or her shell. And you don't understand is the things you actually say to this child that actually makes them withdraw. So for children with global developmental delay, I will just tell you to keep encouraging them, keep praying for them, keep pushing them to be better. And believe you me, as long as you keep doing this thing and keep reaching out, be their number one fan, they will actually change. The growth may be gradual, but I'm telling you, it is actually evident. You will actually see these things. Before, my children could not sit in a place, or they could not, I could not control them. But with all these skills that I've learned, I keep putting them together and, keep pushing them. Now, these work even for children who do not even have any disability, who are just struggling generally, or who you feel they are being stubborn. Try the skills that I've given you and watch them actually improve. I hope I have been able to help you one way or the other as a parent myself, to help children who are struggling. So I hope you learned one of two things. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and share. Thank you. Have a nice day.